Hello, folks. Welcome to the Samuel Kingery Show. I am your host, Sam Kingery. Today, I am feeling free as a bird because the USA won their first game in the World Cup. With the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Cooper.
Big Pulisic stand
A
over
Pulisic
here.
stand. We're recording this to cover the first round, specifically the USA's first game, where they honestly dominated Paraguay 4-1. And probably the best USA performance in a World Cup since 1930.
That was the best USA game I've ever seen.
Yeah. And I'll talk about games that have been close in my tenure as a fan. And historically, as we get into that game, we're also going to kind of talk through the first round, how well the World Cup is going, give a look ahead to USA Australia, which is going to start in a couple hours, and then look ahead into the second round and just how we're feeling. But so far, it's been a great World Cup, and obviously the USA won their first game, which has made it much better. But just in general, Mike, I mean, it's been great. Like, there's been very few duds of matches. It's been fun.
Hold on. Before we start talking about soccer,
Yeah.
and I've seen all the discourse that we've gotten on our socials for our reels
Yeah.
and our stuff. I do want to say nothing has been better than the European mind starting to understand how great America is.
Yeah.
And all the stuff they've been
And
doing.
not even the European mind.
From like the world mind.
Yeah, Japan, and South Korean fans. Everybody's been having a great time. I know there's been a few snafus with visas and stuff, but aside from that, it's been great. It's been safe. People have had a great time.
I feel like Freddie started it, and then now you're seeing all these videos of I watched a video yesterday of an English lady going Chili's for the first time, or like a Japanese lady trying Texas barbecue for the first time. And I'm just like, we take, or somebody going to Buc-ee's for the first time. Yeah. And I'm just like, we take this stuff for granted, but these other people, I feel like this may sound off course for what we're trying to go to, but it's like, you see sometimes the discourse the United States gets around the world just as a country, and now people are starting to realize how fun and how great of a country this actually is. And the soccer has been great too. Multiple draws, multiple countries competing that we may not have thinking that they could compete.
Oh, yeah.
The soccer overall has been great, other than just the United States. So it's great product, great stadiums. The atmospheres have been incredible, and you're getting these fan bases from everywhere realizing how great this country is.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing, and it's not just us. I saw videos from South Korean fans really enjoying Mexico, taking tequila shots with Mexico fans. So I'm just glad the rest of the world gets to experience, these three countries, and especially the United States, as we're both citizens of the United States. And yeah, I feel like the media, it's hard these days to not always have a negative story about everywhere. And I'm glad these people get to see, drive around and see normal American life, see the small towns, see the big cities, see how great we really have it here. And, and it's funny, we talked about how they were doing friendlies in college stadiums. There's been a lot of discourse about how, our biggest stadiums aren't even being used for this World Cup. And they're like, what happens here? Like six Saturdays a week. six Saturdays of the fall, that's it. These stadiums.
6 Saturdays a week in the fall with 80 to 100,000 fans.
Yeah.
And towns these small towns and Tuscaloosa getting shut down.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's meant for.
Because Tennessee's in town playing the Crimson Tide, baby. Yeah, it's cool. We could host 3 World Cups and never repeat stadiums. So very, very cool. And I'm very glad they've had a good time.
I will say too, before we dive into the game, we kind of talked shit about Fox a little bit and the water breaks and stuff. The water breaks haven't really been that bad.
No, honestly. They've been better. The fours up is hilarious. The fours up is so funny. The USA fans, please, at the game today, when it's that fourth quarter, you get your fours up, baby.
But what I was gonna say was, we saw the highest viewed USA soccer game ever.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen viewership across the tournament up across the board. It's people are really tuning in, and I think that the country is really buying in. I think too it helps that the better games are at those prime slots that U.S. fans are going to be able to watch it. The 7 p.m. slot, the 4 p.m. slot. when the games were, it's nothing against World Cups in Europe and in other countries, but it gives the United States and United States fans, or even just soccer fans who live in the United States in general, a better chance to watch the game.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's been great, and it's great exposure for the whole sport, not just for U.S. soccer.
Yeah, and I know it's difficult. Listen, I've been there my entire life as a soccer fan with difficult times to watch, aside from Champions League, but that's still during the work week at noon. Waking up at 6 a.m. or waking up at early times or staying up really late to watch games. That's what we did for Qatar. That's what we did for World Cups. And I know that European fans especially have been upset about the times, but that's just kind of how World Cups are. And that doesn't mean you're not going to watch your team. when I'm watching Fulham at 6 a.m. on a Saturday, it's not easy, but you love your team. So, and I'm glad that a whole country that there are plenty of soccer fans in America. I'd like to point that out. We have a huge population, and yeah, maybe only 30 to 40% of us love soccer, but that's a huge population of people.
But I feel like just as an example, you put the United States at 5 p.m. on a weekend, you are going to get the casual fan that may not be a soccer fan. They're gonna watch because it's the United States, and that's gonna really boost viewership.
Yeah, no, it absolutely will. Yeah, and casual.
I mean, fans. I caught myself. I mean, I'm not the biggest soccer fan like you are. I know soccer, I watch it enough, but I caught myself yesterday. I watched all 4 World Cup games yesterday.
Yeah, no.
And you probably couldn't find me watch. I mean, I like the Premier League and Champions League and Bundesliga and Serie A and stuff like that, but you're not going to catch me waking up at 6 a.m. to watch those.
No.
I'll maybe watch a noon game.
Yeah, Champions League game. Yeah.
Yeah, or the Saturday morning game.
Or the primetime noon slot on Saturday, yeah.
But okay, maybe not if there's a good college football game on. But you get what I'm saying. But you get what I'm saying. Like, I spent all day watching soccer yesterday. Probably I never would have seen that come in.
No, and yeah, all these people get the opportunity of finally watching, and I think part of it too has been how good some of the games have been. Like Spain, Cabo Verde played, and you expect Spain, who's a betting favorite to win this entire thing, to dominate them, and Spain ties them, and their goalkeeper has a crazy performance, and Cabo Verde gets their first point in World Cup history.
Didn't he gain 1 million followers on social media?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So that's just the greatness of the World Cup, and we'll get into that more later. Let's talk about the USA versus Paraguay. I was nervous coming into this game. I didn't know how it was going to go. We hadn't looked perfect. Really, we hadn't played to our potential. The last time, we'll talk about the game first, and then I'll talk about the last time we've seen any results close to this. So I'm nervous. We score an early goal. It's an own goal, but it probably would have been a goal either way because that ball was going right to one of our players.
The play Pulisic made,
cutting through 2 people,
cutting through 2 double teams.
Yeah.
Like you said, even if that doesn't bounce off the defender, that still gets through.
It was going directly to Weston McKennie's foot, I believe. So, either or Balogun's foot. Somebody was right there too. So it was going to be a goal either way. And then we get an early goal. Paraguay has to play out, and we dominate them. Especially for the first half. The second half was closer, but we kind of pulled back. We took off Pulisic due to injury concern, and now we're hearing that he is out for this game, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we dominated. Balogun looked like a true number 1 world striker. Like, he looked like he was one of the better strikers in this tournament in that game. Had a brace, and we just really dominated them, and they got no shots on target. It wasn't one of those games, where like Australia played Turkey, and Turkey just didn't score, and Australia scored the chances we got. No, we dominated possession, we dominated shots on target, and it just was not close. We kept the ball. For the last goal, we tiki-taka'd our way up, and Gio Reyna scores a Trivela, showing why he deserved to be on the team. And yeah, it was just an amazing game. And Paraguay is a good team. That, to put it in context, I know people were talking, it's just Paraguay. Yeah, we didn't beat, France or Spain, but Paraguay was the second best defense in South America during World Cup qualifying. They, the only better defense was Ecuador. They only let up 10 goals in 18 games in qualifying. So to dominate that defense and make them just look completely disorganized is really impressive. The lineup from Pochettino was perfect. You know,
My biggest, the biggest takeaway that I could see, other than, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, was that they didn't take their foot off the gas.
No,
they didn't play. They didn't get up 1-0 and start sitting back and playing conservative. They kept going. You could kind of see it a little bit in the second half when you're up 3-0, but as soon as Paraguay got a goal, they put their foot right back on the gas again. Yeah. And I think that's what set up the great, like you said, the great shot by Gio Reyna.
Yeah, and we still didn't, it's not like we were letting up a ton of shots to Paraguay in that second half. It was just a more even game in general than the first half. But the first half was maybe the most dominant performance outside of Germany versus Curacao we've seen it the whole time. And comparing Paraguay to Curacao, I mean, Paraguay's a much better team than them. So really impressive performance from us. The goal from Gio was the cherry on top. It sealed the night, sealed our goal differential. It's going to be really helpful as we continue through this group stage. And we just got the starting lineup out. So we'll talk about that in a second.
Ricardo Pepe is in for Pulisic.
Are they doing two strikers? Are we two strikers?
Poch said Pepe is in for Pulisic.
As Balogun, so we're doing two striker. We'll talk about that at the end when we look at the head of this game, but I'm interested in that. I want to talk about what this game felt like to me. I tweeted this. I've been following this team really strongly for about 8 years. I've been a soccer fan my entire life, and for 8 years, I've seen the talent that we've had and we're developing, and that we were recruiting in guys like Pepe and Balogun, and I knew always that they had this in them, whether it was coaching, whether it was attitude that was holding them back. I knew that we had this in us, and yes, we were a young team last World Cup, so it was more excusable, but I always knew that we had this kind of performance in us, and to have it happen on a World Cup stage was so vindicating to how I feel about this team, how I've always felt about this team, where I've always known in my heart that outside of us not having a superstar, we have the talent and the quality to play at this level versus good teams. And to have it happen in front of the eyes of the world in the opening game, it almost brought me to tears because it meant so much to me. I've told so many people this team is good. I've been banging the drum that this team is good. This team can be dangerous. This team is, a good performance or a superstar player away from being a contender. And to have them show that, it meant the world to me. And just, I mean, honestly, I want to say thank you to Pochettino, to the guys on the team for doing that for me, for making this country believe that we can do something special. Because if we would have went out in 1-0, that would have been great. It would have been 3 points. But to have them show truly what they can be and how special they can be, every single player on the team had a moment where they showed how special they can be. The subs all had a moment where they showed how special they can be. All the starters had moments.
I thought Berhalter came in and played great.
I don't know if he played great, but he hustled hard. He played really hard.
I mean, he played great for him.
Yeah.
Like,
he absolutely.
He played great for him. Like you had guys come in, and you could see that the level did not drop.
Yeah, it wasn't a significant drop off.
They kept the same intensity. They kept the same fire, and I think we kind of hit on it. Like as much as we got kind of dragged for it, and like dragged for what we said about Pulisic and Weston McKennie and those type of players, like they showed it.
Yeah,
what they're capable of, and this is exactly what we've been talking about of what this team is capable of doing.
Yeah.
Do we expect them to play like that every single game? No, but do you? It shows
worse teams, absolutely.
But it shows you the difference of where the level is to this team, right? Yeah. When you're Germany, when you're a top tier contender, when you're France, they put the belt to ass to these teams, as they should. And now the United States is starting to do that.
Yeah.
And if the United States can start to show that they can play at that level, it goes into our points that we've hit on all of our previews and talks really about could this team make the knockout and get past a game or two? If they play like that, they can play with anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like we talked about, like I was talking about the Germany game that I went to. Yeah, they lost, but they played with Germany in that game. They 100% played with Germany, and like, yeah, it was just so vindicating. And to have people like European, like English Premier League fans come on and talk about how they were like Balogun and Pulisic were playing similar to how like Son and Kane played for Pochettino at Spurs in 2016 and 2017, like how the team was looking like that Spurs team that made a Champions League final. To finally see that happen with this team meant so much to me. It meant so much to this country, and people, people that don't follow this team and weren't believing to me when I said this team does have talent. Now they're starting to believe, and it means the world to me. The social media response after the game was awesome, and people.
This team has such undervalued talent, or such overlooked talent. Like especially the top end talent of Balogun. Pulisic still doesn't get his flowers for the up and down European career he has, but he's still a very, very good player. Weston McKennie showed he's a very. Chris Richards was 83 for 83 in passing.
Had one of the best passing games in World Cup history. And that's the thing I've been banging the drum on. And like ESPN and Fox will still be like talk about how Pulisic's the most important player, and that's all good and well. But like, we need to start highlighting how good these other players are.
I mean, to be fair, all you see on social media from Fox and ESPN and stuff right now is how are they going to survive without Pulisic?
Yeah.
How are they going to? Well, Pulisic, they survived perfectly fine the second half. They played. It's not like Pulisic is never hurt. Hurt. He's always been hurt at some point.
Yeah.
So we saw what they look like at full strength. Now it's time for somebody else to step up. And is it Pepe that does it? Is it Reyna is going to get in earlier?
Who's it going to be? I'm very interested in the double striker setup. It's just, to have your, European fans look at the team, finally look at this team and be like, wait, Sergiño Dest is a good player. Anthony Robinson's a really good player. Christian Pulisic's really good. Weston McKennie. Wait, they do have a lot of technique in this team. They do have a lot of talent. To finally understand the roster we have does have talent. I feel like people just never put together that like all of these guys actually do play at a high level. Like these are good players. Like they have a lot of talent, a lot of technique. They were showing skills that we've never seen out of an American soccer team. Outside of Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey, like outside of those couple special players, the team we had an entire 10 guys out there that were capable of doing that, and it felt so good to see, and it just made me so happy. And I want to talk real quickly about this is the best performance they've ever put on a World Cup. They have put other performances with this team together, kind of like this. So, do you remember the Nations League right after the last World Cup, Michael?
Yeah.
They had an interim head coach, BJ Callahan, and everyone was worried about BJ blowing it. Haha. They played Canada and Mexico in 2 games, and they dominated them in both these games. Now, Canada and Mexico are world beaters, but they're the best other teams in our side of the world in CONCACAF. And BJ, all he did was he's like, we're going to play to our talents, to our strengths. We're going to play this formation with our best players at their best positions. Christian's going to be on the left. Gio Reyna is going to be in the middle. Balogun's going to be up top. It's going to be way on the right. Sergiño Dest is going to be supporting. And he played all of our best players at their best positions. And they dominated. We hadn't seen them play like that since. Play freely. And now we have Pochettino, who not only lets them play in their correct positions, but has a system that even highlights them even more than what BJ did, because BJ was an interim coach and he's just like, guys, go out and play your game. You're a good team. Now Pochettino's here and he has a system and a mentality that he's brought to the team in addition to letting them play freely in their best formation. And that was like that. Those games were an indication to me of how special this team could be. The only other times we've had games like this is we played we played really good in 2002 World Cup. Should have had a chance to go to penalty kicks against Germany if Greg Berhalter's shot doesn't get saved by a handball. And we would have made the semifinal in that tournament. 94, we got knocked out by Brazil. That's fine. That's fine. And they had a good showing for their first World Cup in a long time. And, 1930, we got third. And otherwise, our biggest result ever is probably, we beat Spain, an undefeated Spain team that hadn't lost in 2 years. In the Confederations Cup in 2010, we beat them. So that was a big result. But otherwise, it's the best game that we've ever played as a country, basically, especially in the modern era. It's the most we've ever dominated, especially versus a good team. So just really happy with this game. If we want to kind of transition to going through all the other first round games and kind of just scroll through and talk about, what we thought of each of them quickly, and it's been really great. There's been tons of fun results. The ties in this World Cup have not been boring ties. They've been exciting ties. They've been ties like where an underdog ties a team and it's like, whoa. Look at that. Look at that team come out of nowhere and give this European power hell.
Yeah, I would say. I thought the Brazil tie was a little shocking to me with Morocco.
But Morocco's good. No,
I would say Morocco was very underrated. Yeah. But I thought Brazil would play better. Qatar getting a tie with Switzerland was a little shocking to me.
Shocking. And then Scotland only beat Haiti 1-0.
Yeah, and then obviously the Uruguay Saudi Arabia 1-1. Mm-hmm. I will say the most entertaining tie that I watched at least was that Iran New Zealand game. The Iran New Zealand game was a great soccer game.
Yeah. Well, and the two blowouts we've had, like there's been 3 blowouts basically. USA Paraguay, which we talked about, Germany Curacao. Yeah, but Curacao scored their first World Cup goal ever. Like it didn't matter. They could have lost that game by 15, and it didn't matter because they scored a goal. Like that's how special this tournament has been.
Or Ghana getting a win.
Ghana getting a late win. Japan sending in crosses to the box, while the pundits and everyone both the people calling the game and everyone online was like, "Why is Japan, this team that's not very physically big, sending in crosses into guys like Van Dijk all game?" And then they score to tie the game on it late. And they tie Netherlands. We have Ivory Coast getting a win versus Ecuador. Ecuador showing that, they have a great defense, but they
Congo plays well, but they shouldn't be tying with Portugal either.
No. Sweden's strikers really had a great game and showed that Sweden can be really dangerous with those two guys up top versus Tunisia.
I mean, Messi did messy things.
Spain, Cabo Verde was just the best 0-0 game I've ever seen. When Cabo Verde sent up everybody in the last for a corner, I was like, holy shit, they might do this. If they get a win here. Belgium, Egypt tied. Iran, we talked about Iran, New Zealand. France kind of dicked around in the first half for Senegal. I do have a comment on France's starting lineup. Didier Deschamps needs to, with this team, have a little bit of authority and look at these guys, his attack, and say, guys, you are all amazing players. Every single team in the world would kill to have you guys. I cannot start all of you. He started 5 wingers in that game. He started Dembele, Mbappe, Doué, and Olise in that game. He did not start Ryan Cherki, arguably his best cam, one of the best cams in the world, and you could see the midfield was not connecting to the attack well, and he didn't start a true center forward. He has to look at and if you want to play Mbappe at center forward, fine. You have to fit in Dembele and Mbappe in the lineup, fine. You have to tell Desiree Doué, hey son, you're a really great young player, or Olise, but I would take off Doué. You have to tell him, hey, you're going to be an impact sub. I'm sorry. But we have to start Dembele, Mbappe, Olise, and Cherki. We cannot start 5 wingers and expect it to work, especially versus good teams. Now France still won the game, but they had a struggle in that first half, and I don't think it was a little arrogant, and I think he needs to have some balls and tell one of these guys, hey, you're not starting today. And you can rotate through them. They're all great players, but starting 5 wingers I don't think was the move. Norway, Holland had a great game. The Stars really showed out on Tuesday. Holland had a great game, announced his presence in this tournament authority. Argentina 3-0 Algeria, and I mean, the Messi show was is just so good. And then Austria 3-1 Jordan. Jordan's not a very good team. I didn't really catch much of that game. Kind of felt dominant from Austria, I feel like.
I didn't catch much of that game either. I did watch. I think the only blowout really game that I stayed and watched mainly the whole one was Canada and Qatar yesterday. That game just got ugly so fast.
It did. Qatar has won 2 African Cups somehow recently over teams like South Korea, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Iran, like teams that are much better than them, and I don't know how. I'm really confused on how. I'd be very interested to understand how
don't get
happened.
2 guys sent off.
Yeah, that also will be that'll be horrible for any team.
I will say, if we want just real quick, there have been a lot of red cards in this tournament so far.
There have been, but they've also at the same time been letting the guys play. Like they've not been calling a lot of like flopping calls. They've just been letting them play, letting them go to the ground and telling them to get up. There hasn't been a ton of yellows, but there have been reds when there needed to be reds. But otherwise, it feels like a lot of the games, they're classic football line. They're letting the boys play, and I kind of like that. Let's do what we have to do. Portugal ties Congo, and another starting decision that I just disagree with. It's the debate's over. It's over. Ronaldo is one of the best players there's ever been. But he cannot start. He is an actual hindrance to this team when he starts. He is not making the runs he needs to. He doesn't have the legs to make the runs he needs to anymore. He doesn't have the legs to jump the way he needs to anymore. And it's hurtful to this team because this Portugal team has a lot of talent. And they just weren't good. And it's not just Ronaldo's fault. The whole team didn't play great. And it's not like they can't pick it back up, but
I mean, the way that they played, they scored in the first 6 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever it was, and they just sat back.
Yeah.
I mean, they dominated possession time with 75% of the possession time, but in the 25% of the possession time, the Congo had the ball. They had a higher expected goal rate than Portugal did. They had more shots on goal
and more shots.
Did. And more shots in general.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know, like Portugal cannot keep playing like this if they want to win. And it's just they gotta change something, and I really do think it's a lot of it's Ronaldo, but it's more than that too. And it's just they need to find something. There's Spain, France, and Portugal. I know France won at least. They gotta clean up their act quick, because if they don't, we're already in the second game. If they don't figure it out, this is going to be dangerous, because all of a sudden Portugal ties this next game, and they're not going to make it past. They're a great team, and they're not even going to make it out of the group, or they're going to be a third place team playing, a group winner. England plays really well versus Croatia. It's painful for me to say that, but they really did. Really good game. Harry Kane played good. Harry Kane did miss a penalty, but then he got to kick it again, so buried that second one. Croatia's kind of on their last legs. They're still a good team, but they're pretty old. They do have quite a bit of quality, though. Ghana gets that late win over Panama. And then Colombia. So I went to a Colombia watch party with a coworker who's Colombian and some other coworkers. And, Colombia played okay in the game, but at the end of the game, it was 2-1, and they were letting Uzbekistan attack them, and Uzbekistan got some dangerous chances, and then they get the late goal to win to secure the win 3-1. But Colombia was playing with a little bit of fire, so I'm going to be definitely watching them intensely, because that's the easier game they're going to get in this group stage. So if they play like that versus a good team, I don't know if Colombia's going to survive playing like that. They need to play better.
Oh, I agree.
So that's the end of the first. The second round started yesterday. Czechia ties South Africa. That's a pretty disappointing result for Czechia. I'm not gonna lie. You got to win that game. South Africa
they played well. They dominated possession time. They had more shots. They had more expected goals. They played a lot better than Czechia did.
It's been really interesting this tournament. A lot of times, do you expect these way worse teams to bunker and kind of play how the USA used to, where they just bunker and counterattack? Some of these teams are actually out here looking for results in games that they have no business trying to look for results and wins in. And
yeah, they had more shots. They had more shots on target. They had more block shots. They had more shots from outside the box. They had better pass. They had 10% better passing than Czechia did. They had possession time 62 to 38. Like
yeah,
they dominated.
yeah, and it's wild to see like teams like South Africa be like, no, we're playing out of the back. We're playing out of the back. We're building up, and we're actually going to try to attack you when they don't have really the quality to do so. But hey, I have a take on that when we talk about the tournament overall. Switzerland dominates Bosnia. Canada versus Qatar got really ugly. Jonathan David and Kyle Larin really showed out in that game. And then Mexico wins 1-0 last night.
That was a good game.
It was a good game, but Mexico wins that game on a mistake from the South Korea goalkeeper. And yeah, they have 6 points. They're through. But this Mexico team, and I know I'm going to sound like a hater, and I am a hater of Mexico, so that's probably fair. But so they didn't really like dominate South Africa in a way they could have. And then once again,
South Korea, you mean?
No, South Africa in their first game. And then last night, South Africa, you win 1-0, and South Korea has chances. I don't know if Mexico has really shown me. Yeah, they're the first team qualified through, but I don't know if they showed me that they have a chance to really win a knockout. They could win a knockout game, but I don't know if they really have the legs to.
I mean, you look at that game too. Statistically, South Korea dominated possession time, expected goals, more shots on, more total shots. I mean, Mexico had 2 more shots on target, but South Korea had more chances, more accurate passing. They played better too. And like you said, it was one mistake by their goalie, and it cost them a game, and potentially cost them. I mean, I think South Korea will get through still, but it could potentially cost them a chance to get through.
Yeah, or it could put them in a place where they're no longer playing a favorable draw in that next knockout match. So tough for South Korea. They missed the chances they needed. That a couple really great saves by that Mexico goalkeeper down to the finish. So they've had good performances by certain players, Mexico, but they haven't really convinced me that they're going to be like dangerous, because these teams they play, they have not really dominated them, and they've enough for my opinion. Overall, the World Cup's been great. I do have a take on kind of what's going on with how some of these teams, we expanded the World Cup and we expected some of these teams to get really shellacked, and they haven't so far. And I think it's because the world has been really catching up in soccer. You've seen the gap between these top teams. It used to be these top teams, like these top 5 to 10, and then like the next 10 of like Switzerland, USA, Mexico.
The only two teams with a worse differential than 3 is Qatar, who got their ass kicked yesterday.
Yeah.
And Curacao.
Yeah. Everyone
else has been competitive. Paraguay is one of the worst at -3. Tunisia -4. I mean, but those are countries you expect them to play hard, but not to really win. But like, if you look at like Group H, you look at the group with Uruguay and Saudi Arabia, Spain, and Cape Verde. The differential for every team in that group is 0. The same thing in Group G. All differential. It's all 4 teams that got a draw.
Yeah. So it's been really competitive, and I think the world in general has caught up with the middle teams. Like America they've significantly raised how close they can play to these top teams, and then those bottom teams have raised how close they can play to the middle. And so you're seeing way more competitive games than we thought we would. So before the tournament, I was kind of worried about the expanded World Cup and whether any of these teams could be good, but they've proven that they can. And I know it's just the first round. They might get shellacked in the second round, and all of a sudden it's the third round games aren't as interesting. But so far it's looked like a lot of these teams can play. So very exciting. Let's talk about us going into this game. So Christian Pulisic hasn't really been practicing with the team this week. It looks like he's out. I'm okay with that because we need him for the knockouts, man. We need to prove. We said before, we have a clip of us talking about before, our attack is good enough without him, and we need to prove it tonight. And it looks like Pochettino has altered the 3-4-2-1 to be a 3-4-1-2 with 2 strikers. And I've been interested in whether this is going to happen at any time during this tournament, because Pepe and Balogun are both, I think, really good. and it looks like it's
So
happening.
I sent you what the lineup looks like. It's exactly what you said. It's a 3-4-1-2.
Yeah.
It's Pepe and Balogun up front, Tillman, McKinney, and Dest, Tyler Adams, Miles Robinson, Ream, Richards, Freeman, and then Freeze and goal.
Yeah, and I'm really interested in this. I was wondering if this was going to happen or if he was just going to stick Reyna or Aronson or whatever in Pulisic spot. But it looks like, especially with a bunkering team, he's saying we're going to put 2 strikers on their center backs, force them to make the defensive, decisions they need to make.
The one surprise I would say, other than for just this game in general, is Iron Kuda. I forget how I don't really. He's not in the starting 9 for Australia.
Really, they're really fast young player.
Mm-hmm. They took him out of starting 9.
Interesting. I wonder if they're going to have him try to attack weak legs late, or if they just really think they're going to bunker after that last USA performance. But this is a formation we've not seen. We have not seen this.
They're going Bella Pile, Torre Leckie, Boz O'Neill, Orcon Eggster, Italiano, Bugas, Satar, Kuritai, and then Beach and goal.
Okay, so they're going to play defensive, and we always knew they were going to do that. I'm just really interested to see how this USA team plays because we have not seen a 2-striker formation under Pochettino really. So I'm excited to see this. If this works, and this is our way of breaking through a bunker, is just tossing our big dudes up there, getting in crosses to their heads, and
that starting 9. That starting 9 is now official. The United States posted it.
Yeah, it's official. So I'm very interested to see how this formation plays. And I'm excited for this game. I was so nervous for the last game, but this game, with how we played last game, I'm not saying we're going to dominate them because they're going to play a really tough defensive style, but I feel confident that Pochettino has these guys ready to play and the way he coached last game. So I'm excited for this.
You could see just by the clips of seeing the players talk that their mindset's different.
Yeah.
And what was that one that they said? I think I sent you we fear nobody.
Yeah.
Or we're not scared of nobody.
Well, Sebastian Berhalter says we're the USA, we don't take shit, and that's what Pochettino's drilled into them. And so this is another point I have about the Paraguay game. There was a lot of people online that said, wow, we never expected to see this. I expected to see this. I was nervous that they'd never show what they could be, but I knew they had this in them. That's why I no longer feel nervous because Pochettino has, I think, unlocked what they've been missing the entire time. And if he has them playing confident, and then I expect results. I'm actually it doesn't surprise me. And the players after the game, did they seem surprised, Mike? No.
I think the only people that were really surprised were these Fox and ES commentators. Alexi Lawless is obviously a homer, so he's not going to be surprised at anything that the United States does. But even just to say though, when they were going back and talking to him and talking to Clint Dempsey and Landon Donovan, and what's the other guy? I can't think of the other guy. The other guy who played for America, and then Carly Lloyd, even they were surprised. They were shocked.
You see, and it's just the casual USA fans and the casual Stephen A. Smith, they were shocked, but I'm not, because all they just ball watch our results, but they don't ball watch how this team plays for their clubs, how this team has played when they're clicking and playing good. Man, I expected a good result. Now, how they dominated versus a team like Paraguay, maybe not that totally, but I expected a good win. And the players didn't look like they were surprised. Pochettino didn't look like he was surprised. They just looked happy. They looked like they were full of pride. And then I heard from Stu Holden the next day. He went to practice the next day.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember what his name was.
And they went to practice the next day, and Stu Holden said it looked like nothing had happened. They were practicing with the same intensity, same foot on the gas, and that's where it also really matters to me is that result was number one expected, and then the next day it's back to business because we got 2 games left at least. So we need to come out, we need to handle business, and then if we handle business the right way today, I wouldn't expect to see Pulisic versus Turkey either, and I wouldn't expect to see guys like Tyler Adams either. Don't need to. We win this group, and we have enough quality off the bench that we can not start some of these guys, and we can still tie that game versus Turkey, if not beat them.
What is I can't remember. What's the clinching scenarios today?
If we win, we have the.
We win, we're through. If we win, we're through, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So how they win? They clinch the group with a win versus Australia, They win the group with a win versus Australia and a Paraguay win or draw against Turkey.
Yeah.
And then they advance no matter what if they win today.
Yeah. You go out and win. You show you show these pundits that not only that Christian Pulisic is a luxury, you show them that he is a luxury. Now, versus the best teams in the world, he's not a luxury. We need to have him. But you show them versus lesser teams that he is a luxury. You show them that we are dangerous in multiple formations. And you continue to show that guys like Serginho Dest and Weston McKennie are not just afterthoughts on this team. They are main men.
So, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. We were just talking about how shitty Fox is. Fox has a video clip right now about how Mauricio Pochettino didn't choose the best players for the United States. He chose the right ones that fit what he's trying to build.
He only left off like 3 players you could say were our other best players. Tanner Tessman, who had a bad end of the season with Lyon. Aidan Morris, who was good in the English Championship, but like he's an English Championship center mid. He's not like a world breaker. And Johnny Cardoso, who got hurt and was not able to play. Otherwise, this is our best team. Now, I would have preferred other center backs or other options over Miles Robinson and Christian Pulisic. But in terms of like our top 15 guys, they're here. It's not like he was like, oh, we're playing Sebastian Berhalter, Tyler Adams, you can go home. No. That starting lineup and the people that came in our last game, outside of Sebastian Berhalter, who still played really well for himself, those are our best players. So when they say things like he chose the right team, not the best team, they just don't know they don't follow this team. They don't follow, because this is our best team. This
and like that, it's like one of those features by Tom Rinaldi about how, the bullshit. It's like that's not it. They picked the best players that were playing the best at the time of the selection of this team.
Yeah, who are healthy and available.
Yeah, healthy, available, bought into what he was trying to build, and wanted to play in the play style that Poch wanted to play.
Yeah,
it has nothing to. Is he right that he picked the right players that fit? Sure, he thought he picked the right players that he thought fit his system.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that those guys aren't the best players in the world or in the United States either.
That's why Joe Scally's on this team. Joe Scally's on this team. If Alex Freeman can't play, Joe Scally's going to play that third center back role. That's why he's on this team. Although pundits and people don't like him that much, that's kind of what he does. That's kind of his role. So you know why Joe Scally's on this team? He's the backup there. Like that's like the roster decisions make complete sense when you look at the formation we play and you take our best players. You know who would be in this World Cup instead of Christian Roldan or Sebastian Berhalter or Miles Robinson if he was healthy? Johnny Cardoso. He just wasn't healthy. Everybody else is the best player we had available outside of Christian Roldan and Miles Robinson, who I'll never agree with their decisions on any roster. But fine, they're not going to play. It looks like they're not going to play. So
right, but that's what I'm saying. Like if those guys know that they're on this team, they're not going to play much.
Yeah,
our top 15. They're not going to play much. Like
and our top 15 or like top 18 guys, they are the best ones. So just dumb discourse. Yeah, I'm excited for this game. I think they're going to play good, and I'm excited for the second round. And I'm so happy how this World Cup has turned out.
Have you seen the clips? And obviously you probably have Fox on, but have you seen the atmosphere in Seattle?
No, I'm sure it's going to be insane.
They're comparing, like, there's video clips going around that they're comparing it to college game day at an SEC school. I texted you one of those videos. It's fucking insane.
Let's go, baby.
Of what the environment looks like right now. It's like my whole feed is just what it looks like. Let me see if I can find one real quick, and I'll share it with you.
Go. Holy shit. And that's another thing. I was talking about how much this meant to me. Did you see Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey after the last game when the crowd around them? And how they were almost in tears because they're like, we played so many years for this country. We gave our heart and soul. And to see, I'm not gonna get emotional. To see,
look at this. Like, isn't that fucking nuts? It is. It's insane.
to see those guys, to see Clint Dempsey's face and what he was talking about with Landon after the last game, where Landon looked at him, he said, all the time, all the games at Curacao and Trinidad, all the times that we wanted this, and now it's here. We finally have a great team, and it's here in the United States to have it come to fruition and for them to dominate and hopefully dominate again today. It meant so much to them.
Like I said, the SEC tailgate. Look at this. Look at this view of it.
Paraguay, a 4-1 opening victory. Another W today for the U.S. would guarantee a trip to the knockout stage. Day 9 at the 2026 FIFA World Cup begins right here. Let's go!
Like it's the atmosphere there is just insane, and I can't imagine what it's gonna be like at kickoff.
Yeah.
If that was 2 hours before the game,
Yeah.
before kickoff, it's gonna be nuts. I did see videos yesterday because you know how like there's been the videos of the Scottish fans going to the Red Sox games and there were videos yesterday of the Australia fans at the Mariners game doing shoeies and stuff in
That's
the
awesome.
outfield.
That's awesome. I'm also excited to get through this game because then we can quit pretending that Australia-USA is a rivalry. That's not me like shitting on Australia either. We're not a rivalry, guys. Our rivalries are Mexico, Canada, to a much lesser extent, Canada's little brother, and England. Like, you're not a rivalry with us. I don't dislike you at all. So, I mean, I'm just excited to put that past us as well. And, yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but those clips, they mean the world to me.
Look at this. Even the
means so much.
The Mariners tweeted yesterday that the Australians are doing shoeies.
That's great. I'm so happy. I'm so excited for this game, and I'm so happy that they played good last game, and I'm so excited that if they play good today, how many more fans, because you know what it should be. You know what happens in England and other countries when the roster comes out for a friendly camp. It leads off the sports. And listen, am I expecting a roster like a roster where we have a camp where we're playing Trinidad and Jamaica? Am I expecting that to lead off the first thing ESPN in the morning? No, but I'm hoping that this creates enough momentum that we at least discuss it, because it's not just like they don't discuss our team unless it's like a game versus unless it's a World Cup. When at least at minimum, like when we release a roster, it should be discussed on ESPN that day. Like when we release a roster and we're going to play Mexico and Canada in the Nations League, I'm not saying it needs to be first, but at some point in that first hour, they need to say, "Hey, USA released their roster. These are the guys on the roster to play Canada on March 23rd." Like it needs, and I'm hoping that this creates enough momentum where at least we cover it a little bit and treat it seriously outside of the World Cup, because if you watch this team every game, you're not as surprised by these results.
No, I agree, and I think that they win today, and I'm not saying go win 4-1, but go win and say it's 2-0, but a dominant performance. You're gonna get the viewership's gonna be high. You're gonna have the LA for Turkey in game 3 is gonna be even more wild than that.
Yeah,
they were saying the lowest price ticket to this game was $1,500. Today, the highest price I think I saw that they made public was about 13.
Wow,
it's the hottest ticket right now, and it's the perfect time. Like, no football, no NBA playoffs are done, Stanley Cup is done, NFL training camp's not going on. There's no college football. this is the time that soccer can take over in this country, and it should.
Yeah, no, it should. It should.
No offense to the WNBA, but soccer should be more popular and more viewership than the WNBA in this country.
And I hope this increases. I hope that tons of American fans decide to start tuning in for our national team camps outside of the World Cup. I hope that American fans. I've seen several people tweet about, hey, I need to pick a Premier League team. Can somebody give me NFL comps for Premier League teams so I can kind of understand who I should root for? And I hope they start following club. I hope they start following their local MLS teams. And another win today would be another great step in securing the future of this sport in this country. And maybe, and I'll kind of close off with this. Maybe, Michael, maybe Greg Berhalter's constant quote of saying we're going to change the way the world views American soccer. Maybe, just maybe, it's happening right in front of our eyes.
Oh, I definitely, I think I agree with that. I think that there's definitely a shot especially around the world, to see what, yes, Europe and Premier League and those leagues are going to have their chance. They're going to have their thing. But let the United States do their thing. Let the United States be different. Let us bring college football atmospheres to soccer games. No offense. Yeah, those chants are popular in soccer and football and whatever. But if rowdy American fans get behind this like they do college football, these atmospheres are going to be completely different than what's in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that's not a shot at the European stuff either, or Premier League stuff either. But the way Americans do college football and the chants, the atmospheres, the loud, the bands, the everything that goes after it. Like if the United States could get their own version of that for soccer, it's going to be game changing for this country, because then it makes fans want to go to games and want to support these players and want to buy the USA jersey that you have on right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to draw. I mean, they got 25 million viewers for the first game. I bet you there's more than that today. And if they win, there's going to be more than that.
That knockout game's going to be, yeah.
The knockout game will be the highest viewed World Cup game ever.
Maybe, yeah. Unless we get a Portugal-Argentina, then that game is going to be the final battle will be something to behold.
Well, yeah, I think everybody will watch the final battle between Ronaldo and Messi.
And we all know who's winning. Do you have any other thoughts before we close this out?
Do you want to do a game prediction? Do you want to do a game prediction?
3-0 USA.
I think 3-1. I think Freeze gives up one.
Yeah.
I think they get up. I think it's the same thing I said before game one, that my prediction was get up big, get up early, and don't coast and take it to the finish. And that's exactly what they did. I think they get up. It's the same thing. I think they're going to get up 1 or 2, nothing early. And the place is going to be rocking. And I don't know if Australia may get one late. And then the United States, you're going to get one late from another one, like a Gio Reyna or somebody like that, something late to make it 3-1.
Yeah. A Sebastian Berhalter free kick into the top corner. Something crazy. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Everybody go out and watch this game. Michael, you enjoy this game. Feel free to text me during it. I'm sure I will be very excited. Go USA, baby.
Right. Let's go. Play Freebird, baby.
Play Freebird. Thank you so much, Michael, for coming on. We'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya. Deuces.